I think the conference is Harbaugh's for the taking, and I think he needs to take it to justify the hype that people like Joel Klatt and Colin
Do you want to know why I'm laughing?
and Jason McIntyre.
You want to know why I'm
give
laughing?
him. What?
Your narrative in that eloquent lead of his underperforming first few years at Michigan. Really?
Yes.
Underperforming? You know what was underperforming? Brady Hoke's tenure at Michigan. And your defense of Brady Hoke, because of the Ball State connection, is obvious right now. Jim Harbaugh is exponentially a better coach, and Michigan is exponentially better off right now than they were under Brady Hoke.
Oh, did I miss something?
No. I was just pointing something out from your lead.
Let me go read the prompt again, because Joe's on a different
You
topic.
said it. You said
want
it.
to tailor the topic to you.
I read it with you.
Is Jim Harbaugh better than Brady Hoke? Joe?
Well, I know, but you threw a shot in your lead. You threw a shot in your lead of underperforming in his first. What was underperforming about his first few seasons?
He's got the same.
The 10 wins?
He's got the same.
Was the 10 wins
Two
underperforming?
10-win seasons.
Two?
That's more than Brady Hoke and Rich Rod combined.
Remember when he was a dropped punt snap and a botched spot away from playing for a national title? Oh, because I remember that. That wasn't underperforming for me.
Do you remember when, I sent a DM to Tamron Hall and thought I was this close to marrying her? Do you remember that? It didn't happen.
I'm pretty sure Michigan was closer to the playoff than you were in that DM conversation.
You do realize he's got the same conference record as Northwestern during his time back in the Big Ten.
Okay.
I don't think that was the expectation.
What division is Northwestern in?
They're in the Big Ten. They're in the Big Ten
Are they in the West or the East, Jason?
They're in the Big Ten Conference.
They're in the West, which is exponentially a weaker division than the Big Ten East. These are all just facts. Listen, I mean, I don't know what you want me to. They're better in wins and losses. They're better in offense. They're better in defensive statistics than they were before Jim Harbaugh got there.
Oh.
And the fact remains, this is a media-driven narrative that he is underperforming at Michigan. He is not underperforming. Michigan was drastically underperforming under Rich Rodriguez and Brady Hoke. They made a change, and they're much better off.
I love Joe, but I'm going to go to Jason McIntyre.
Please.
Maybe he'll answer my question.
Yeah,
Can I answer the question?
Fire.
Should he win the Big Ten Conference this year with Shea Patterson and the best quarterback in the conference? Is he not due to justify the hype? Should he not win the Big Ten Conference?
I looked at the schedule, and it's one of the toughest in the country. They play 5 ranked teams that are in the top 15. They open at Notre Dame. This is a brutal schedule. Even if he has the best quarterback in the conference, it's going to be a tough road for Harbaugh. But, Jason, I'll say this. If I'm a football program or an NFL team and I need to turn things around, there's one guy I call, Jim Harbaugh. He did it at Stanford. Okay, they had never had a top 5 finish in over 60 years. What does he do in year 4? Gets him a top 5 finish. He goes to the 49ers, Jason. 8 years, no playoffs. What happens? NFC title game right out of the gate.
Wait, what? Really?
Super Bowl the next year. This guy fixes programs. This is what he does. And again, Joel already talked about
let me go back
how
to the
improved they are.
I want to just start over again.
Here's the thing: you're trying to throw out. I understand, and the question was derived from you because you want to throw out some sort of metric that will prove once and for all that he's overrated. He may or may not win the Big Ten. I don't think that his job depends on it, nor does his reputation depend on it. Ohio State's incredibly talented. Michigan State's incredibly talented. They won 10 games last year, bring 19 starters back. Penn State is incredibly talented. By the way, you compared James Franklin to Jim Harbaugh. James Franklin was a 500 coach before Saquon Barkley and Joe Moorhead took over that offense, and all of a sudden the last 2 years they were world beaters, and they won a Big Ten championship. Now he doesn't have either of those guys, so we'll see with James Franklin. I'm just saying, I think your narrative is completely off. I don't know if they win the conference, Bucky, but Michigan's going to be a really good football team. You know how I know that? Because Jim Harbaugh is a really good football coach.
He is a really good football coach, but they're paying him a lot of money to win championships. And when I'm looking at this 0-3 against Ohio State, 1-2 against Michigan State, 1-1 against Wisconsin, I mean, you're paying the coach who is supposed to take you over the top to win big games.
Yep.
And he hasn't won big games. And I think the bigger thing is, we all believe that he was a guy that was a quarterback whisperer based on what he did with Colin Kaepernick. He was going to take anybody that Michigan threw out and make them better, and we haven't seen that.
Even that first year with Jake Rudock, we felt like, wow, I mean, he's doing this with anybody.
So now we get an opportunity. He has a legitimate quarterback. He has Shea Patterson. Shea Patterson, to me, is a real dude. I don't know if he's the best one in the conference, but he's a legitimate playmaker, a legitimate starter. Jim Harbaugh has to get Michigan over the hump based on the amount of money he's paid and the expectations that come with that. If not, I'm disappointed as a Michigan fan.
The biggest question surrounding Michigan is not whether Jim Harbaugh can get them to the next level or not. It's whether their offensive tackles are going to protect the quarterback. That's literally the only question mark surrounding this team. It's going to be a top 5 defense in the country. Their run game should be very good with the stable of running backs that they have. They're more talented at wide receiver than they've been in quite some time. I think Khalil Hudson could be the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, and that's even in a conference with Nick Bosa. So we'll see. If those tackles protect the quarterback, they could have a special year. If the tackles develop, I wouldn't be shocked if they're in the playoff.
Let me see if I understand what Joel thinks the conversation in Ann Arbor is. That they're not talking about Jim Harbaugh finally delivering a Big Ten title, beating Ohio State with all that controversy they're in, beating Michigan State. You think the people in Ann Arbor are talking about the offensive tackle?
Let me ask you, are they better off now than they were under Brady Hoke? That's a yes or no question. That's a yes or no question.
Joe, you know, tomorrow,
I'm just asking.
That'll be our second topic here. Brady Hoke. I'm not arguing Brady Hoke. That's over and in the past. Let it go.
Better off?
We'll see this year.
We will, because I think they've been exponentially better off.
Right now, he seems to be going the same direction Brady Hoke was.
Because all of his quarterbacks got injured and they lost a few games at the end of the season?
No one else had quarterback injuries? No one else in the world has ever played 2 quarterbacks? I've seen Urban Meyer make magic with his 3rd and 4th string quarterbacks. That's who Jim Harbaugh's supposed to be. Didn't Urban Meyer with Cardale Jones, the 3rd string guy, win a national championship?
Good
and I'm supposed to cry because Jim Harbaugh, the quarterback whisperer?
I'm not saying that you got to cry. I think that your narrative is overblown. Do you think he's overrated? Everything that you've said suggests
What is his
that.
reputation?
Let me explain what my narrative is. My narrative is that Jim Harbaugh was paid a lot of money to win Big Ten titles. My narrative is that Jim Harbaugh was supposed to be so much better than Brady Hoke. My mind was supposed to be blown.
America.
And I was supposed to look at results and go, oh, my God. Brady Hoke never could have done this.
He couldn't.
He hasn't done anything at Michigan so far that Brady Hoke didn't do while he was there.
Stop. Come on. Now it's like I'm playing cards with my brother's kids. What are we doing? What are we doing?
What has he done that Brady Hoke didn't do while he was there?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
The 10 wins don't matter.
Brady Hoke won
Playing
11
Ohio
his
State
first
for the
year.
division doesn't matter.
He hasn't won the big. They went 8-5 last year, Joel.
Okay. In your world, Brady Hoke, Jim Harbaugh, same. Got it.
That's not what I believe.
That's what you just said.
Brady Hoke has not had the coaching career.
I shut my book because facts and reason don't matter in an argument with the unreasonable.